Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat with Girja. I'm Girja Bhargav Patel, your host for Law Chat, and I am so excited for you to join us today. I have some amazing guests on Law Chat, and they're here to share their experiences and entrepreneurial journey with us, and through their storytelling, mentorship with us, because that is the whole point. We are all entrepreneurs and we're all on a journey, and learning from one another is the best way for us to move forward in our journey as well. And I have amazing guests who are so willing and ready to share their stories with us, their challenges and their victories and their achievements, and also their mindset. I just can't wait to share that with you, and I also just can't wait to have that conversation with them. It's such a privilege to have each and every one of them here with us today, and also it's such a privilege to have you listening in and tuning in. So let's dive in to Law Chat with Girja. Hi friends, welcome back to Law Chat with Girja. Today is a special treat. Today is a little bit different from our norm because we've already heard our amazing guest, Lani Jackson, in episode 12. So please go back and rehear her amazing words of wisdom. But today I've actually brought her back in because Lani is not just a guest of mine. She is also a friend. She is also a coach. She is also a mentor. And she's just one of my biz buddies who's literally becoming a biz bestie also. And I know that term has been used so much over the last year, but truly you need them. If you don't have them, go find them, right? But with Lani, I have been working with you, Lani, for how long now? I think over a year and a half. Almost.
Yes.
I don't know. COVID time came. She has been one of my biggest cheerleaders, aside from my family members, and somebody who's really pushed me even when I felt really uncomfortable to move forward, and gave me the strength to say, hey, you can do it. It's not a big deal. We got this. And truly it was that at the end of the day. There might have been some tears. There might have been some stress, like stress things happening, but it's okay. So today I really wanted to talk to you about something that she really impacted me in my life in literally the month of April and May. I was, I think, losing my mind. And it was so simple, but I'm like, I took a breath. And so I really wanted to talk to you guys today about taking back time and how to productively do that in a way where you're still getting work done and you're still being productive, but you're also not losing your mind. Your stress levels are not going through the roof as well. So Lani, I think you are one of the best people to have that conversation with. So let's just start off with, how do you do that? And what is one of the ways that you need to start pausing and recognizing that this is happening to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just say thank you for having me on again. I love talking to you. We could talk for hours. And so I'm excited to be back here talking about this. Honestly, taking back our time was something that really stems from my chaos and where I was about to basically have a full-on meltdown as a mom and an entrepreneur. I couldn't handle anything else. And so I think the first step really with taking back your time is acknowledging that things are not where they want to be. Okay, so I always tell people, what are you saying to yourself every day? Which is usually the things I hear is oh my God, I have too much to do. I'm so tired. I have more on my plate that I can handle. I've been doing this for I can't handle anything else. We say these things over and over again to ourselves every day. It's not just one day where we have too much on our plate or feel like that we have too much to do. It's every day. So the first step is acknowledging that this is a repeated pattern.
Mm-hmm. And you're not alone.
No,
I mean, you're not alone. You're not alone, and don't feel guilty for feeling the stress. And this can happen to anybody. It's not just moms that we're talking about. You could be in a situation where you're taking care of other people in your family or other people, or you're just juggling a lot of things on your plate. Maybe you're working a full-time job and you're doing a side hustle at the same time. So there's so many things that are constantly happening, and it's okay to feel stressed. And it's okay to say, gosh, I'm tired. And it's okay to not feel guilty about the fact that you're tired of taking care of your kids or things that are important to you. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's honestly as entrepreneurs, regardless if you're a mom or you're not a mom, we have no limits to our time that we can spend on our business. We have no clock in hours. We have no official work hours. We just We even don't have an official like task or job description. It's basically as we make it up, we put it on our plate. As it comes onto us or somebody else puts it onto us, we just like add and add and add and add. And we're also squirreled a lot of times as entrepreneurs. We're like, oh, there's something over there and I got to do social media. And oh man, I didn't send that email. And we just kind of like, it snowballs into this mountain of uncontrollable task. And then also, when do we say this is when I quit? Because we're entrepreneurs. We're constantly thinking of something. And I very rarely meet an entrepreneur who's not constantly coming up with more ideas, more ways to add to their business, or even more businesses to add to their repertoire. I mean, yeah, exactly. I just was talking to somebody. She was like, I think I have like 5 businesses. And I'm like, yep, been there. I would literally had 5 different businesses at one point. Plus I had 6 kids, and no wonder I was exhausted, and no wonder I felt like defeated constantly because I felt like I was never accomplishing anything. So it's just the kind of cycle that I think that if we could acknowledge that we're in the cycle, that's the first step. I always start with mindset with everything, because if we can really acknowledge where this pattern is stemming from and the thoughts that we're thinking, that's going to be the beginning point to changing the behavior.
And I think a key thing that you talked about is that we are doing this to ourselves. We are self-inflicting all of this deadlines, all of these activities and tasks and, agendas. And so if we can add it to our plate, we can also take it off of our plate. And I think there's so much power to that. And a lot of times we know that, oh yeah, I have this deadline. And I love how you always ask me, so is this a deadline that you have put on yourself, or is it a deadline that you need to do? And so I love that, because truly sometimes you forget. And so that you gain clarity on, wait, pause. Do I really need to get this done by tomorrow? Or can this be pushed off to the next day? And it's just about talking about, the priorities that are coming your way. And I love that truly it is about, like, we are doing this to ourselves. So acknowledging that this is happening, and then also acknowledging that you are in control of it at the end of the day. So how would, if I know I came to you back in April, and I mean, I didn't come to you, we've been talking. So in April, I had literally a breakdown. I was just like, there's so much happening on so many different levels, right? It wasn't just work. It wasn't just personal family stuff. It was my health also. There were a lot of things going on, and I was just like, And so I think that day was so pivotal for me, because you actually sat down with me and you made me go through the week and get prepared for summer, but start doing summer schedule in May. And so I really want to talk about the process that you do with your clients. And, if someone was to come to you today and say, oh my gosh, the world is falling apart for me, where would you start?
Right. So like I said, start with the mindset and acknowledging it, and give yourself permission to change. And one of the things that happens a lot of times with us as entrepreneurs, we're like, oh, I want things to be different, but then we do not set ourselves up for success. The next step in what I call the M.O.M method is what I take people through. So we start with mindset. Then we go to an operations, a system that we can actually make work for us. Because I see a lot of us carrying around these planners, whether it be digital or physical. We have to-do lists. We have tons of sticky notes everywhere. We have all these things, plus everything rattling around in our head. And we don't know how to plug it in strategically to flow consistently. So that's why it's constantly causing us chaos and exhaustion and frustration, because it's not being plugged into our actual time available to us or mental capacity. So 2 things that I tell people to start with is, 1, you have to start with the actual time you want to work, or you can. So you set yourself some business hours. Do you want to work 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week? What is it? Because right now you're probably working way more than what you actually intended to when you became an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to be able to set my own hours and work just when my kids are in school. I want to work 20 hours to 25 hours a week. That's my intention of being an entrepreneur, not working a 9-to-5 job, not working 40, 50 hours a week. But then I end up working 40 or 50 hours a week plus more, because I haven't intentionally set those hours in the day. So
I
start
love
with
that.
your hours.
It's so true. I think our society has always equated working longer means you're productive. Working longer means you're more committed. Working longer means you are dedicated. Working longer means you're diligent, like all of that, right? The reality is that I think there's studies that are out there too that show that actually working longer doesn't mean you're more productive. You're actually wasting more time, and you're taking away time from other things that you could be enjoying life in. You could be sharing your time with your family or other ways that you want to spend that time. And so, I love that we can set parameters for ourselves. And that's right. That's what you did with me. You were like, okay, summer's coming up. What days do you want to work? And how many days do you want to work? And how many hours do you want to work? And it was just, I loved that. I loved going through that. And I have been sticking to it, actually. It's been very productive.
Right, exactly. And once we had that foundation, that like framework, we were then able to fill that framework in a logical and productive formula. Because when we don't have a container to fill, we expand the space. So I know myself, I have seen myself, and I've seen a lot of other entrepreneurs do this. We can take a 15-minute task and make it fit an hour. It's pretty impressive because we are not focused. We don't have that, just like there's not a purpose for it. It's not assigned a time. There's no urgency. We just kind of are like, okay, we got to get this done. And then it just kind of floats into an hour. So we fill the space in the container that we have. And if there's no container, you're not as productive. So that's hard.
Or we avoid a task that could be 10 minutes, but literally think about it for like days and days. And then we finally get to, we're like, oh, that was really easy and quick.
Yeah. So our brain likes to tell us it's scary. And then we like, oh, I'm like, it's not okay. I'm going to not be okay. I don't know everything I need to know about it. So we're just going to keep pushing it off. A lot of people do this with bookkeeping and taxes. Like, and I raise my hand with that. Like that's the law. So like those, laws a lot of times. So we just like avoid it because it feels scary. But if we put it on a purposeful, like, okay, we're going to get this done in 10 minutes. It's amazing how, or like I tell other clients, like, you to do this, set your timer for 20 minutes. And if you don't get this done in 20 minutes, you go and ask for help. And stop just letting it be on your to-do list, like get it off. So after you set your parameters on your time and your week and how much you want to work or you can work, the next step is to then assign also high energy and low energy times of your day, because we all have that. A lot of us, as especially mom entrepreneurs, we waste our caffeine highs on tasks that could be like done with no brainer, with the TV on and with our feet up. So making our days, kind of even sorting them out by like, what is my high energy? Where is my low energy? How can I make this take my high energy requiring task and put them on my higher energy time of my day, so that I am not feeling like, oh, I guess it's having so hard doing this, especially like writing content, anything that's creative. You want to put that in a high energy time of your day.
I agree with you. That is so brilliant about the high and low energy. So once we figured out what time is high energy and low energy, what do we do after that?
Then you do a giant brain dump. So you put everything down that you think you need to do. And I'd say that very, very sweetly, like, what do you think you need to do? Because we're going to go through this list and decide whether or not you really need to do this. Because a lot of times we have things on our list with, like you said at the beginning, with these dates that we have assigned that create this crazy amount of pressure. And maybe it's just something that you really don't need to do, or you can wait. I have 3 categories that I sort things into. I say do now, do later, and do never. And it's kind of funny. People are like, you have a do never list? What the heck is that? And that is really a list of things that are great ideas and even good strategies, but it's not the appropriate time to have them. I don't even want to think about doing them later. And it's not in my strategy for next quarter, not even maybe in my next year, but I still want it. My brain wants to think about it. So I put it on that list so that it allows it to kind of like process through and it lives there. So someday I might go to that do never list and pull it off of it. But I am giving myself permission to say, I don't have to do this. And this comes up a lot, especially with online creatives, people who are using social media strategies. We have this pressure on us to like be on it all the time and constantly like playing with the new toys that are coming out, like Instagram Reels. Like, such a great tool, such a fabulous tool. I'm not going to knock that. But like, I feel the pressure. Oh, I should be making reels. I need to make reels. I need to, like, if I'm losing people. I'm not working. Like, there's just so much pressure. And you know what, right now, reels have been on my do never list. Maybe if they float over into do later a little bit, but I just don't have the capacity to do that, because when I weigh on that list of things I think I need to do, what is more important for me is my Facebook group and spending time in there. And there's a lot of times as an entrepreneur, we just need to look at everything we're putting on our plate and saying, do I have to show up everywhere all the time? Do I have to put these deadlines on myself? Can I move it to be more spread out? I give myself more space to breathe. And when we start to do that, our brain relaxes and we can actually accomplish more.
I think I like your 3 categories of now, later, never. And I sometimes call the never a parking lot of ideas.
Yes, exactly. I agree
it's
with
just
that.
kind of hanging out there. And one day I might get to it. One day I may never get to it, but it's there. And you don't want to like forget about it, because it is a great idea.
Yeah.
But at the same
absolutely.
time, it just may not be great for the season that you're in right now. And I think that's fantastic. I hate to interrupt this awesome conversation, but I have to stop and talk with you about the number one thing I'm asked about by entrepreneurs: contracts. They're vital to any business relationship and to protect your business. But I also know that entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting up, money is tight. But I would never want you to compromise on a strong legal foundation. So enter yourcontractbuddy.com, a website created by me with contract templates created and drafted by me and fellow industry partners. They're ready to use and easy to plug in immediately. And they are not restricted to any specific state. So yourcontractbuddy.com is sponsoring this episode, and you and your listener can get 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. Yes, you heard me right. 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. And now, back to our awesome conversation. I also want to actually go deeper into that a little bit, because what I also find is that when we're talking about now, later, and ever, aside from having those 3 categories, I also think it's really important to have your other, buckets of importance, meaning like, what are some big categories in life that are important to you? So that could be your work, that could be your family, that could be your health. Actually, those are mine, right? And so like self-care and health is important to me. And what does that look like? Family time, what does that look like? And work, what does that look like? And so then I have like those 3 categories that I function in, and then allow myself to kind of actually break down my week that way, in a way where I am satisfying all of those buckets of mine. I think what was really key on what you were saying about what works for your business or what doesn't work for your business, like Reels is great, but your community is what's more important to you. So what are the needle movers in your business? What is making that needle move towards your revenue? What is making that needle move towards growing your business? And sometimes Reels is just not that. Instagram is just not that. And unfortunately, we feel like it needs to be. But if you don't have a community, what's the point of an Instagram? Like,
yeah. And honestly, we just have to weigh, like, some people, I have clients right now where Instagram and Reels is extremely important. And we have they aren't on Facebook or whatever the case might be. We have different strategies for different businesses, and you got to stop letting the pressure of social media and other experts and even like clients to push on you what you need to focus on. And one of the things that we did with you, Girja, is after we set your times that you wanted to work, and we set your high energy times and your low energy times, we went in there and blocked off also time for you to do errands, time for you to spend with your children. And this is why I am a big proponent of doing this at least every quarter. Before I do this, the last month of every quarter, before I start the next quarter, I start to transition myself into the new schedule. So like we did this in April because you were transitioning into summer. I'm suggesting to do this now in August because people are transitioning back to school hours. We'll do this again in the holiday season because our seasons adjust and pivot. It's not a standard 9 to 5 and then you take vacation. It's just, you just don't have that. So giving yourself those times, like I want to pick up my kids every day from school, or I want to spend every Tuesday going to lunch with my mom, or whatever the case might be. I have a errand day, which I have left off as like, I don't put anything on my schedule during that time because either I'm making a doctor's appointments or I am doing returns, I'm running around doing errands that I don't want to take kids with me on. And that's been such a freedom giver, because now my brain doesn't try to figure out, oh man, I just made a dentist appointment for the same times I usually do this task. And now my whole week is thrown off. I'm not saying that I can't do that, but in general, I give myself that pocket of time and permission to be like, to check into my other buckets and be present for them without worrying I'm missing something on my list.
Oh my God, you literally took the word present out of my mind and just said it. Like I think that is the key, is that you're allowing yourself, you're giving yourself space to be present, because now your mind is not cluttered with your to-do list, because you know that you've already allocated time for that to-do list on a separate date. And I know there are a lot of people out there that don't like to plan, that don't like to have agendas, and that's okay. That's how you function, which is wonderful. I wish I could function that way too sometimes, but I just love planning and I love the planners and I just love all that cute stuff too. And so, but for me, it's very important to have that separation. And sometimes batching can be tough. It can be like, you have to be disciplined to do it and committed to doing it also. Okay. That is a reality. That is not like, oh, I said it, so I'm going to do it. Execution is everything. So you can make a plan. And I kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago in one of my Law Chat 101s, but execution is everything. We can make a plan. We have a dream. We write it down in a plan. But we have to actually follow through with it. And, it takes 21 days to make a habit. So if we just start adding one habit every month that we are really wanting to do, which could be just, hey, you know what? I have set myself Wednesdays where I'm just recording my, interviews for my podcast. Do it. It might be tough, but do it. And so then once that discipline comes into the execution, and then that sort of becomes a habit also. And it really, really helps declutter and allows you to be present in the moment.
The thing that this does is it gives it, like whenever you have this system set up, this way of planning out your week and doing things consistently in your business, your brain actually knows you're going to do that thing. So if something pops into your head and you're like, oh, email, I got to do email. You're like, oh, no problem. I'm doing that on Tuesday. So like you can just, it's fine. We got this covered.
Right.
So your brain will slowly start to like not panic about those things that constantly are juggling around in your head and you're flicking from one thing to another because you're getting into that habit of saying, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. That's a great idea. I could pop open. I have a Trello board that I set up my clients on. I love Trello. And what I do is it's like something comes up and it's an idea that has to do with that task. I'll just go and put it on that day and I'll dump it there and I'll leave. And it takes me 30 seconds to do that. And I can do it on my phone. I can do it on my desktop. It's not going to take up much time. And then I can get back to what I really wanted to get accomplished today.
I think
without getting derailed.
Yes, such wisdom right there. And it takes time to do it sometimes, but once you start doing it, you're going to realize how productive you are. Because what happens is when we're trying to be productive, but then we have like 10 other tasks coming in our way, we lose productivity then a lot of times because we're stressing about those. We're not present anymore and we can't finish the task on the table. And so this allows you to really allocate the time. And I think a lot of us kind of have that problem of emails, have that problem of social media. When do we engage? Because we need to. Some of I engage on social media, and there's other maybe groups that you're part of that you want to engage with on a daily or on a weekly basis. So I would really just, how you were saying, is highly suggest maybe use a Sunday or a Monday where you're tackling all the emails that are coming your way, or have like allocated time on a daily, morning, afternoon, where you're, touching on the emails and, engaging. So I personally, like to schedule out my week on a Friday, not on a Sunday, because
Mhm.
Sundays inevitably become a time where I'm also wanting to be lazy. I want to just have fun. And then having another task on my plate of setting up the schedule for the week becomes
Yeah.
work for me. And while I love doing it, I don't like to do it on a Sunday. So I ended up starting to do it a lot on Fridays, and it takes me half an hour to an hour to figure out what I need to do next week and just kind of plan stuff out. But I really enjoyed doing it on a Friday. Like I know that, okay, and you know, kind of getting my week, and it really takes away so much stress levels because I know I've already written it down. I know I've already like written down what days I need to get what done. So I'm not like worried about, oh, I have this contract to draft or I have this to do. You know, it's like, okay, I got it. I know what I'm doing it. So it truly helps with figuring out the schedules and what works and what doesn't work for you.
It's just so amazing how we can like take such a simple thing. You're like, oh my gosh, this is not something new. This is like, you know, hear this before. All these principles are not new, but we're bringing them back in and we're reining them in. And the thing that I love about this system that I help my clients learn is that I want you to feel like all of these things that are on your list are movable and interchangeable, but they're all in their own pockets. So let's say you do have a day where you're just like, you know, kids are sick and I'm derailed. It's easy to move things around and place them where they need to be. And then I can still have the freedom. Because here's what's happens a lot with mom entrepreneurs, especially, and even other entrepreneurs, whether you have kids or not. We literally became entrepreneurs and our own boss so that we could have the freedom to take the time off and to have our own schedule. But then for the flip side, when that happens, we beat ourselves up because we do that.
So much self-infliction happens.
So much self-infliction.
And then it's like, oh my gosh. And then you're setting yourself up for failure all the time. And so I totally now, absolutely, that is in the forefront of my mindset when I am preparing for any week or any, you know, quarter, year, whatever, I don't care. And so I absolutely am like, okay, what is really achievable? What is really doable without breaking my mind?
Yeah, because
you might have
burnout.
Yeah. And there might be seasons where you are working hard. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I'm not saying that shouldn't happen. I mean, especially if you're launching something or really getting geared up for something. But then even that, if you have an idea and you know it's going to happen in 6 months, you can work backwards and get that 6 months in a way where you're not overwhelming yourself and setting yourself up for failure. And I think it's key. It's hard. It may not be something that works for everybody, but just trying it out also won't kill you.
No.
The beauty is you can experiment. And if it doesn't work, move forward. Keep moving forward.
Well, what I tell everyone when they like look at me like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work for me. Here's what I tell them. I was like, by working a system, you learn what works and what doesn't work. And you will never know what works and doesn't work until you work the system. And I will tell you, like when I first started doing this for myself, you know, when I had 5 different businesses and 6 kids and all the things, I was feeling so overwhelmed. It did not work for me at first because I didn't actually open up the Trello board. I didn't look at it consistently. I didn't follow the plan. But when I finally committed to say every day, I literally set an alarm on my phone for every day at 9:00 because that's when I started that's when the kids were gone and started the day. And I opened up that board and I looked at that day and I decided I was going to follow the plan that I set for myself. It was life-changing and I cannot get over that. And I will tell you my mom method, I tell you, it starts with mindset, then it says the operations, then you move forward. Everybody keeps telling, you know, when I would just like, I just want to make consistent money. I want to be able to market myself. I want to be able to show up consistently. When I did change my mindset and when I followed the operations I set for myself, I moved forward in my business. And every time it tripled, doubled, quadrupled my income.
Yeah.
And my business expanded and without overwhelm. Without the overwhelm, which is like blow my mind.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you are such a living, breathing testament to your own method. The best example of social proof because you have 6 kids. I mean, come on. And so I'm sure people ask you, how do you do it, Lani?
Yeah,
I'm sure people
exactly.
ask me, and I have 2 kids. I'm like, I'm sure people ask you, Lani, you
Yeah.
have 6 kids. How do you do it? And they come from a place of awe. They come from a place of, you're amazing. And they come from a place of, please teach us your methods because we are losing our mind.
Right.
And all of this, I'm not going to say that you're not going to have days where you're feeling crazy. Like, I'm literally in a season of crazy right now. School is starting next week. Both my kids have been under the weather and we've been traveling. I mean, just a lot of things are happening at the same time. Plus I have like a lot of other like work stuff to do. And I think like the month of July was a month where I wasn't sticking to my buckets, my days, my designations, nothing. And I'm feeling that pain. I'm feeling the overwhelm. And it's like you can tell the difference of when you do it and it's mind blowing of how less stress you have. Stress is okay. Stress is normal. Stress should, like, a little bit of stress should be there because it helps you keep going, gives you the adrenaline. But what's not okay is when stress becomes debilitating. And that is what we are trying to avoid here and what we're trying to manage.
Absolutely. And the thing about this system that I love, especially when you lay it out on something like Trello, if you use a Trello, Asana, you can use a physical planner. It doesn't really matter what you use. The point is, if you're able to come back and look at it, you can then reflect. So that's what I'm doing this right now in this season. I'm going into school starting and I'm reflecting on, okay, summer is a different kind of schedule. So I'm also going back to what I did in the spring. Okay, how did I find success there? What was helpful? How can I improve on that? What do I need to take off the list? What do I need to put back? Like, where do I need to give myself more time, more focus? And maybe I wasn't giving myself enough expansion and I was always kind of flowing over that time that I was giving myself because it wasn't enough. So I have now some baselines that I can go back to for seasons. And this is where I'm encouraging moms to like save your summer schedule from this summer so that when next summer comes, you can come back and say, oh, wow, okay,
What a great idea.
This worked. This didn't work. I loved it when this was happening. I did not love this. And we can then build off of that because we're still the same person, but we're in a new season and we can learn from this journey. And what's amazing is you're going to start to find ways to make yourself more efficient. Your brain's automatically going to start looking for that efficiency pattern. And that's what's exciting to me.
I cannot agree with you more. I mean, for me, it was super effective. Just an application for everybody that's like wondering, how does this apply? So over the summer, I knew that, Mondays in general are days where I want to look forward to after the weekend. I do not want to have a Monday where I'm stressing about it. I've had enough Mondays where I never looked forward to it. And like with my own business, I don't want that to happen. And so now my Mondays are super relaxed in the way where I might have team meetings or I have, getting client work done, but I don't have any like major deadlines happening on Monday. And that's been such a lifesaver for me. Tuesdays is actually one of those days where I want to take off or minimal work is happening. And so that's what we did because of, that's just the way my family dynamic is set up with my husband's time at work and whatnot. So Tuesdays is a great day for us to hang out and spend some time together. Wednesdays are my recording days. So whether I'm recording or whether I am getting on a client call or whether I am connecting with other, industry people or just making connections, networking, that's a Wednesday for me. Thursdays is client work, getting all that stuff done. And then Fridays is usually my errand day, self-love day, pour over day also if I have anything to pour over.
Yeah.
So that's what I've kind of like batched it up into, and it's actually working. And it's kind of something I will probably take this into school year as well, but maybe add on a little extra on my Tuesdays just to kind of like balance out some of the work. But it's been working for me and it's been very nice because I'm like, okay, I know Wednesdays I'm recording. I don't need to be worried about figuring it out on another day unless someone just can't make it on a Wednesday. Then, I'm open to like being flexible, and flexibility is everything, guys. Don't be like militant what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Give yourself permission to change. But your method, just that one conversation was so life-changing for me at that time. And I needed it because I was definitely in a season of overwhelm and overwhelm where it was debilitating. And that's not okay. It's just not okay. It's not normal, guys. So don't make it normal. Let's not normalize that. Let's normalize being productive in a time frame that works for you, especially if you have your own business. That's why you started your own business. And that could be where you're working. Like my husband has his own business and their time frame is working 6 days a week, but that's just the nature of their business. And so that's what they have to do. And so I think it's not like what my method of 3 days a week or 4 days a week has to be yours, but what sits well with you, like how you said earlier, right? Acknowledge and then the mindset, like looking at the mindset and the operations where you need to kind of fix those operations. And what does the last M stand for?
Moving forward.
Moving forward. Love it.
And when you are able to move forward, like we all have goals in our business. And I know, especially you, Kircha, you have lots of goals. And most of us is, we're wanting to like get to that next level, or we're wanting to accomplish things or launch, whatever that might be. We can't move forward. We're never going to get things done. And we're never going to be able to see that next step happen, whether it's, doubling your income, expanding your business, bringing on a team member. That's not going to happen if you're in a state of constant overwhelm.
Yeah.
If you're in the state of constant exhaustion and a never ending to-do list that you feel like you're never going to get out from underneath of.
Absolutely.
So we have to start with that mindset. Then you can't, like, I love people are like, you just believe it will happen. I'm like, yeah, but we also need to make a plan.
Plan and the execution, which is moving forward. We got to do that. You can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, don't just buy the pretty planner. Don't just make a Trello board. Actually show up into it in every day. And I guarantee progress and movement if you do that. The thing I can't guarantee is if you don't show up, if you don't act consistently, if you don't give yourself grace, if you don't pivot. And, that's the thing. That's where I didn't need to take a new course when it came to like a few years ago when the system came up in my life. I didn't need a new course. I didn't need anything like education wise. What I needed was to change my mindset. I needed to put into action what I already knew. Then I could move forward. I was tempted by all the shiny objects saying like, do this and you're going to make $10,000, do this and you're going to get clients every week, which is great and fantastic. But if I don't have a plan of action right now for what I already know, I'm not going to move forward.
Sometimes you just need to put your head down and do what you do best.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs don't give themselves enough credit for what they already know, or they have the ability to figure out, but we are so bogged down by overwhelm and exhaustion, or a to-do list that feels like we're just drowning. We're never going to get that course is not going to solve the issue.
Well, I cannot agree with you more. And you're so right. Courses will just overwhelm you more. Clutter.
Yeah, not saying that you shouldn't buy them, but if you are if you're in a state of overwhelm, a course is not going to fix that overwhelm.
Yeah. If your mindset is not ready to start executing and start moving forward, then you're just adding a lot of stuff into your space and your head space, and you're not compartmentalizing in a way where you're becoming productive with it.
Absolutely.
So I completely agree with you. It was life-changing for me. And, it was exactly what I needed at that time. And so I'm sure there might be some other people listening and they're like, gosh, we need to talk to Lani today. And I would highly suggest you to go and at least have your first call with Lani, because she truly has been that one person that I can attest to as a coach. She's not somebody who's judging you. She's not somebody who is pushing you in a direction that you're like, I don't think so. She really sits and talks and helps clarify, gives you so much clarity. And I think that's something that you do. You're you give a lot of clarity. And a lot of times when there's a lot of things happening in the brain, a lot of ideas. So clarity is needed, and just figuring out the path is also needed. And so you have been very instrumental for me for that. And I feel so grateful, and I'm very grateful about it too. So thank you so much. But if someone wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, Lani, let's connect. I'm going to put everything in the show notes anyways, but how can I connect with you?
So if you want to just jump on a call and chat and talk about what it would look like to work together, you can go to LaniJackson.com/let's talk. Like that's as easy. It'll take you to a calendar. You can book a call. I'm going to be doing this whole take back time thing that we just went through, all of the process, plus a lot more details and the Trello board that I use. I'm giving that away for free because this is I'm so passionate about this. I'm doing a live class on August 24th. I don't know when this is going live, but August 24th is the live class, but there will be a replay that you can catch anytime. I'm going to make it evergreen because this is something that constantly is coming up with so many women I talk to. So I'm making this a free class. So you can get this on my website, LaniJackson.com, and it'll be obvious. So it's not up just yet, but it will be by August 24th so that you can sign up to take it live or that you can watch the replay and get that free Trello board. Because this is I'm so passionate about it because I know the impact it can make on you. And from there, I have created a whole system called the Profitable Mom System. I'm just getting this ready to launch. And I'm so excited about it because it's a way of, once you get this pattern down using the MOM method and taking back your time, you can, no matter what your business is, you can move forward and grow your business with this system of creating community, of keeping your life in balance, of finding ways to establish your authority. So no matter what industry you're in, you can use this system to create new business for yourself without expanding beyond what your actual time is and what you want to spend.
And I want to put in there that it's not just for moms. I know that you focus a lot on mothers because you are one, and you are, you have 6 children, and you are one of the best mentors for other women who are wanting to start a business or have already started a business. But your methods can be used by anybody.
Absolutely.
It's not just a mother. I mean, so, and wherever you are in your season, one day, if you're not in the motherhood season you want to be, this is great to start applying now and prepare yourself for the later also. And so either way, whether you are a guy, a girl, mother, no mother, father, it doesn't matter what you are, this is absolutely applicable to you in your business. So definitely, I'll put all the links down there, and I'm just so thankful that you came on today and shared all of this information and wisdom with us, and we were able to talk about it and kind of give a sneak peek into the way I also function. And it was super helpful, and it was really life-changing. If anybody has more questions, guys, DM us, leave a comment, go to our website, connect, because honestly, this is all about working together and lifting the community and really helping our mental health and calm the mental health also.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lani.
I love it. So thank you for having me. And again, send me a DM. You can reach out to me on Instagram or on Facebook. That's where I hang out the most. And so I love to talk to you.
What's your Facebook group again?
A Brilliant Mompreneurs Society. So that's a free community for mom entrepreneurs specifically. If you're a mom entrepreneur, I'd love to have you there. If you're not, DM me. I would love to chat with you there, or on Instagram, Lani J. Jackson. While I'm not doing all the reels yet, I am on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lani.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, and appreciate you so much and love working with you, Girja.
Thank you so much for joining Law Chat with Girja. I love these kind of stories and conversations where we can be real, honest, and open, and having fun at the same time. I hope you are inspired and motivated to keep doing the amazing work you are doing. If this is something that gave you all those feels and then some, truly motivated and inspired for you, you can show your love in all or one of these ways. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video with your community and tell them about it, or share with somebody that can benefit from it. I look forward to seeing you next time on another episode of Law Chat, and until then, keep moving forward. Bye.